You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Cloud Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Authentication and authorization are foundational to cloud security and operations. When something goes wrong with either process, users may be locked out, systems may block service calls, and automation may fail unexpectedly. Authentication verifies who the user is, while authorization determines what actions that identity is permitted to perform. Failures in either layer disrupt normal operations and must be resolved with precision. In this episode, we'll explore how to detect, isolate, and remediate these critical identity and access issues. On the Cloud Plus exam, candidates must be able to distinguish between authentication and authorization errors, interpret identity logs, and resolve misconfigured access controls. Scenarios may include denied login attempts, broken trust relationships, or token failures. Candidates will need to recognize the scope of the problem, whether it's identity-based, session-based, or policy-based, and know how to apply tools and troubleshooting logic to reach resolution. The first step is learning to differentiate between authentication and authorization errors. Authentication failures typically result in login issues, like invalid credentials, user not found, or multi-factor authentication errors. Authorization failures occur after login and are expressed as, quote, access denied, 403 forbidden, or not authorized for this resource. Identifying which layer failed helps teams investigate the correct system, whether it's the identity provider or the access control engine. Common causes of authentication failures include mistyped passwords, expired credentials, or disabled accounts. More advanced failures may involve broken MFA setups, expired session tokens, or temporary service outages within identity providers. These issues are often visible in sign-in logs, failed request traces, or event dashboards. Authentication logs usually include the origin IP, login time, device identifier, and reason for rejection, all of which are useful for pattern analysis and incident correlation. IAM misconfigurations are a leading cause of authorization failures. Even when a user authenticates successfully, they may be blocked due to incorrect role assignments, policy scopes, or permission conditions. Inspecting the assigned roles, the resource-specific permissions, and any context-based constraints like IP filters or device restrictions can help pinpoint mismatches between what the identity is allowed to do and what is required for the requested action. Logs and audit trails play a crucial role in diagnosing both authentication and authorization issues. Authentication logs reveal the identity of the user attempting to log in, while audit logs help trace access attempts to specific APIs, services, or actions. Reviewing logs side by side helps identify whether the failure happened before login or afterward during resource access. Many cloud providers highlight failed login attempts with red flags or icons in their native dashboards, streamlining the investigation. Multi-factor authentication adds complexity to troubleshooting. MFA failures might result from misconfigured time sync on the client device, missing second-factor prompts, or expired push notification windows. Cloud-native identity systems log whether MFA was initiated, which method was selected, and whether the response was verified. Understanding how common cloud MFA workflows function, especially in federated environments, is essential for accurate diagnosis. Federated identity systems often introduce failure points related to SAML or OIDC token exchange. These include mismatched attribute names, expired SSO certificates, and unreachable assertion endpoints. Federation requires a correct trust configuration on both sides, identity provider and cloud platform. Cloud Plus candidates must understand that while the login screen may be hosted externally, troubleshooting still requires platform-specific log access and identity mapping review. Authorization scopes, particularly in token-based systems, determine the actions and APIs that can be used. If a user presents a token with insufficient scopes, the result may be a 403 or 401 error. Reviewing the scope embedded in the token, whether using JWT inspection tools or API gateways, can reveal whether access was denied due to a lack of permission within the token, even though the session was otherwise valid. Short-lived tokens and session expiration are another common cause of failure. Many secure environments rely on tokens that last only minutes or hours. If a system fails to refresh these tokens in time or the refresh logic is broken, sessions will be dropped unexpectedly. Tokens must be inspected for their expiration date, signature validity, and issued claims. JWT tools and cloud-native CLI utilities are often used for this purpose. Finally, cloud platforms offer diagnostic tools for resolving identity issues. AWS IAM Access Analyzer, Azure Active Directory sign-in logs, and GCP IAM Policy Troubleshooter help admins simulate access attempts, visualize inherited permissions, and evaluate policy decisions. These tools are essential for identifying whether access was denied due to role mismatch, conditional logic, expired tokens, or conflicting rules. Cloud Plus candidates should be familiar with the names and functions of these tools for exam and real-world readiness. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. One of the first things to check when troubleshooting identity issues is whether an account has been locked out or throttled due to repeated login failures. Many cloud platforms implement rate limiting or account lockout policies to mitigate brute force attacks. Too many failed attempts may result in temporary suspension or restricted login access. Reviewing identity provider policies and monitoring alert logs will reveal whether lockouts are in effect and when the account will be reinstated automatically. Certificate and key-based authentication introduces its own set of failure modes. If a system uses mutual TLS, SSH key pairs, or API tokens signed with private keys, expired certificates, invalid trust chains, or incorrect file formats can cause silent or logged failures. Diagnosing certificate issues requires inspecting certificate validity dates, confirming trusted root authorities, and verifying that keys are placed in the expected locations. Revoked or mismatched certificates may require rotation or replacement. Access policies may include region or IP-based restrictions that silently block login attempts from disallowed locations. These geofencing controls are common in financial, healthcare, and compliance-sensitive environments. If a user suddenly experiences access issues, checking their IP origin against allow lists or regional access policies may explain the behavior. Reviewing logs for denied IPs or cross-checking identity policies for geographic conditions can quickly isolate the root cause. Mismanaged identity lifecycles are another frequent source of confusion. Accounts that appear in the identity system may already be expired, disconnected, or deleted in the backend directory. These ghost accounts can appear to pass authentication checks initially, only to fail later in the session. Regular reviews of identity lifecycle automation, such as provisioning, deactivation, and account synchronization, can help eliminate expired or orphaned users from the system. Testing with known good accounts or service principals is an effective isolation strategy. When a problem is suspected to be identity-related, trying the same access request with a verified, properly configured account can help determine whether the issue lies with the user, the role, or the system. Differences between working and non-working sessions highlight missing roles, broken conditions, or scope mismatches. However, teams must be cautious not to rely on a single comparison alone without confirming the underlying configuration. Directory synchronization failures between the cloud platform and external identity providers can result in outdated or incorrect user information. For example, a user might be removed from a group in the corporate directory, but the cloud platform may still grant access if the sync job failed. Manual or scheduled resynchronization helps ensure account status, group membership, and policy bindings are accurate. Most cloud platforms include sync status dashboards or logs that make it easy to confirm when the last successful sync occurred. When persistent identity issues are encountered, rotating or resetting credentials is often a necessary step. This could involve reissuing session tokens, generating new API keys, or resetting passwords. These actions must be performed in a secure, auditable manner and confirmed by follow-up testing. Notifications to the affected users or system owners ensure that authentication workflows are restored without confusion or interruption. Every authentication or authorization issue should be documented thoroughly. This includes capturing the specific failure, listing which tools were used to investigate, and outlining the fix. If a recurring issue is identified, such as expired federation tokens or group mapping problems, it should be added to FAQs or runbooks. Clear documentation not only improves future incident response, but also builds the organization's knowledge base and audit trail. Troubleshooting identity issues in cloud environments requires a blend of technical skill, policy awareness, and familiarity with platform-specific IAM behaviors. Cloud Plus candidates must be prepared to diagnose session errors, interpret token contents, resolve trust misalignments, and validate configuration updates across users, groups, and services. With a structured approach, thorough testing, and careful documentation, identity-related failures can be resolved efficiently and without compromising security. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.